Welcome to Behind the Wheel, a District 7505 video series. I'm your host, Pete Berthaud, and today I have an interview with someone very special. I've got Marv Axler here, and he is a member of the Garden State Rotary Club of Cherry Hill and the director of StrikeOut Hunger. Marv, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's certainly going to be a pleasure, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Yes, that's right. We're going to get into all the things that have to do with StrikeOut Hunger, but I want to remind you guys out there that the Behind the Wheel video series, the goal is to keep our current members informed of our upcoming initiatives while also showcasing our district to a broader audience by educating them about our charitable endeavors. And this falls under both of those categories. Before we get all the way into StrikeOut Hunger, Marv, could you tell us a little bit about your background in Rotary, maybe how you got started, some of the roles you've held over the years?
Well, in 1985, I was invited to join the Garden State Rotary Club of Cherry Hill. Back then, you had to be you had to be living or working in the town where the club was chartered, and I had just bought some property a couple blocks from the Cherry Hill Mall, where I was going to build my office and warehouse. So Jimmy Horowitz invited me. And that's kind of how I got started. It was an auspicious year because the International Convention was in Philadelphia, and immediately I got drawn into it and met Neil Garber, who was the district governor at the time, and he invited our club to set up tables in some of the hotels in Cherry Hill to welcome people that would be staying for the convention. Over the years, I've been pretty much every job in our club, from secretary, treasurer, vice president, president, sometimes multiple things at the same time. Also directing StrikeOut Hunger for quite a few years. My wife was also a Rotarian, and she got very involved, not just in our club, but she started the first internet club in our district. She was also involved in the Rotary Global History Fellowship and a couple others. She traveled all over the country and the world for Rotary and for StrikeOut Hunger, been to many international conventions. And in 2013, she went with a group of other Rotarians from our club and other clubs in the district to inoculate children in India.
So both of you have been involved in Rotary for
yes,
a very long time. I think
for
you
a
might
long
have even
time.
told me over the phone that you had 35 years of perfect attendance. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Way
Before
back,
COVID?
right, before COVID. Way back when, again, it was required that members meet a certain amount of Rotary meetings per year. Our club set the standard of 50, and being involved in StrikeOut Hunger and other things, I was always visiting other clubs to do makeups. It was a lot of fun. So I had, when it came to 2020, when COVID hit, I had, that was my 35th year of perfect attendance. And of course, now they eliminated that rule. So
that's impressive. That is very impressive. Obviously, a dedicated Rotarian is what Marv is. That's who we're talking to today.
Yeah, I really need to get a life. But
moving on to the main subject matter of this show and why you guys are watching. And I want to go in deep on this in a second. But first, could you summarize StrikeOut Hunger in just a sentence or two for the listeners?
Yes. StrikeOut Hunger is not a club event. It's not a district event. It's a Rotary Foundation event. The goal is to collect food for the hungry and raise money for Polio Plus to eradicate polio around the world. We do this by sponsoring a game in August with the Phillies. They donate a portion of the ticket price to the Rotary Foundation for every ticket sold by Rotarians. This year, the game will be on Wednesday, August 15th, when the Phillies meet the Marlins. The Rotary International President-elect Mario Cesar Martins de Camargo.
You're close.
Yeah,
you're close.
I know. I just call him Mario. Very nice guy. He's from Brazil and will be throwing out the first pitch. Of course, the Phillies are going to sign him up right away.
That's right. That's right. And the date is Wednesday, August 14th. And then the next day is the banquet. And I'll hold the thought on the banquet, but the game, that's the important date you need to remember for now. We're going to talk about the banquet at the end, but you can see on your screen here, I've got an image of the two flyers for the game and the dinner, and that is the face of our guest at the top there.
I also want to mention that since 2007, the Gates Foundation has matched $2 for every $1 we raise and send to the Foundation for Polio Plus. That way we can raise a lot of money this year.
I like it. I like it. So you mentioned Polio Plus. That is the main beneficiary of this.
Yes.
And
yes.
is that, so does the foundation, does money go to the foundation also, or does it go to both, or they put the foundation money towards Polio Plus?
Well, the food goes to the local food banks of Cherry Hill.
You have to bring
South
your
Jersey.
food items to the game, correct?
Correct. And also we collect them at the Banquet. Okay. Each participating Rotary Club gets to elect where they want the money that they raise from their ticket sales to go to either Polio Plus in the Rotary Foundation or annual giving.
Okay.
The vast majority of the money goes to Polio Plus because that's what it was set up to do.
And I've got some images here as we kind of talk, and this is an example of what Marv is saying. You can see Marv in the StrikeOut Hunger jacket on the screen at the Phillies game. He's got it on right now. Very, very nice. And then on the scoreboard, 90% of the world is polio free. We're this close with the Rotary symbol. Another image there just on the screen. These are just some in-game things that have happened over the years at StrikeOut Hunger. But this is a big deal. The Phillies are heavily involved in this. You've been working with them, and they do us right. They have, the first pitches. They do all this kind of stuff. I want to ask you about the history of StrikeOut Hunger. How did this get started?
Started in 1985, essentially, when Rotary International pledged to raise $120 million for Polio Plus fund to eradicate polio worldwide. Okay, they challenged every club and district in the world to find a way to raise money for Polio Plus. The first StrikeOut Hunger game was in August 13th, 1986.
Oh, yeah.
And here is a little tote bag that was donated for that first event.
Yes. Yeah. That's from, I guess, ShopRite partnered with you guys and helped.
Yes.
And I think I saw Delaware Valley Rotary on that bag.
Right. In 86, the first game, it became the brainchild of a 23-year-old young Rotarian from the Mount Laurel Club, Jay Neufeld. At the time, polio struck over 1,000 children somewhere in the world every day. That's 365,000 children a year would be paralyzed for life or would die. Within 3 years, Rotary raised more than twice that goal, $247 million for Polio Plus. As I mentioned earlier, Neil Garber was the South Jersey District Governor then, and he continued the event until he died suddenly. I was his assistant, so I took over and expanded the event to include over 200 Rotary clubs in 6 districts, covering Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Eastern Maryland.
And you'll notice in the pictures I'm showing on the screen, Jay Neufeld has been in a couple of these. He's next to the Fanatic in that one picture above Wang and next to Mark there. And then this was the 2018 flyer, which was meant to honor Jay Neufeld after he passed.
That's correct. He was at the StrikeOut Hunger game the year before, and he hung around for a while, and we had some time together. His mother still lives in Collingswood, where he was brought up, and he went back to his job. He was a doctor, a very well-known doctor, by the way, and shortly after died. It was very, very sad as a young man.
So you talked a little bit about how it began, but what made you want to get so heavily involved in StrikeOut Hunger? Is there something personal there?
Yes, absolutely. When I was 5 years old, and this was back in the dark ages, back before there was color, everything was black and white back then. I was upstairs in my room. We had a 2-bedroom apartment in a projects in Philadelphia, and what did I know? My mother came up and said, "Marky's back. You want to go down stairs and see him?" He was a couple years older than me and lived in the apartment downstairs. So I Sure, but I didn't know he was gone. Back then, polio was kind of a season. It was in the summer, a couple of weeks where mothers wouldn't let their children out to play. So I had been closed up for a couple of weeks, I guess. So she took me downstairs and we went into his apartment. His bedroom was all the way in the back. We walked down, they opened the door, and there he was lying in an iron lung. Da-thump, 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 da-thump. Scared the life out of me. I mean, I'm 5 years old. What did I know? That made an impression that stayed with me all my life. And when I had an opportunity to help and save children's lives, I was going to go for it. One of the Rotary presidents told me, he said, find your Rotary passion. And that's what it was, my passion for that. Gary Huang from Taipei. One of the reporters from the Enquirer asked him, well, how much money has StrikeOut Hunger raised over the years, and how many children's lives have you saved? Well, he turned to me, and I said, I don't know, I've never kept track of it. So I got the reporter's card, and I said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Into my office, I was there most of the night, going through all my records, calculating everything, doing the average price of the vaccines. It turned up at that point, we had raised over $1 million. I don't remember the exact number, but we had saved the lives of 1.5 million children. 1.5 million children were saved due to the efforts of all the Rotarians in the Delaware Valley that helped with StrikeOut Hunger.
And that's something that's interesting about this event, is that it's a Phillies event, it's a fun event, it's a Rotary event, but the tie-in with the fight against polio is huge. It's the biggest part of this thing, because when we were kind of chatting before we did this, you were so passionate about the fight against polio and the progress we've made and how close we've come. And it's just some of the, enough money to vaccinate all those children. You talked about, all the 100 million children we vaccinated in India. There's all this good work that's done. And this is a Philadelphia event. There have other cities tried this?
Well, yes. I believe in 2008, the Rotary magazine featured me an article about StrikeOut Hunger, and they interviewed me and they asked me some of the things we're doing now. And as a result of that, I got a number of calls from other clubs throughout the country asking for my help to start that. Obviously, it was one where there was a major league team. And I did what I could, told them exactly how to organize it and the things to go about doing. And a couple of them got off the ground, but unfortunately, none of them lasted for more than a year or two. So it's a tough thing to keep going.
And that's a testament to the work you've done, the work that Jay started, and we're
Neil
hoping
Garber.
to make this, and Neil Garber, and we're hoping to make this just as good as all those other years. Yeah. And I remember last year, it was my first one. I've only been in Rotary a short time, and I started right after the end of COVID. And man, was it a fun night. Yes. We had a really good crowd of Rotarians. The RI president-elect was there. And
she's president now.
Yep. And it was, she got to throw out the first pitch. I showed a couple pictures of first pitches already, but this has had so much involvement over the years from clubs all throughout, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. It's not just our district. And you've got a list right here of the RI presidents that have been at StrikeOut Hunger.
That's right. These are just the presidents that I remember from 2000 to 2000 now, and 25, 26. President Mario, he'll be the 25, 26 president. But here we go from 2000, 2001, 3, 4, 5, 7, 13, 19, a lot of them.
Yes.
And they're from all over the world, and they've all gotten involved with Mexico, Nigeria, Canada, Taiwan, Australia, Alabama, Brazil now.
Yeah, that's
all over.
It's very impressive. And on the screen, I've got a picture of the clubs, and this is a picture from 2016. So it probably doesn't include every club that's ever participated, but that have participated throughout the years. And it's a lot of clubs. It's a lot of clubs. Yeah. And is this the kind of thing where you are do you reach out to new districts and new clubs every year? Do people
Oh,
contact you? Like, how does this work?
well, I do reach out to the clubs in the other districts as best I can. With my records, I've made friends with other Rotarians and other clubs and all over. And sometimes they will call me early on and ask, are you doing a StrikeOut Hunger? When is it? Can you give me information? And I said, well, I'm working on it right now. So I do have a list of Rotarians and clubs all throughout the Delaware Valley. I also try and work through the different district governors to get them to participate, which is always a challenge because they like to manage their own district. But once they know that the RI president is going to attend, well, then it's kind of a stampede to come and meet him because they get that opportunity.
They put that
they never would.
They put that RI president-elect or president through the ringer. When they get to the US, it is like it's go time. Sometimes they're already in the US, but they have a lot of things to get to.
Oh my God, yeah. I remember asking one RI president, we picked him up from the airport and brought him over to the hotel, and he came in with his wife, and you could see he was tired and weary. I said, boy, I bet when you wake up in the morning, you don't know what city you're in. He said, city, sometimes I don't know what continent I'm on.
Let's talk about that order of events, because this year the game is on the 14th and the banquet is on the 15th.
Correct.
Could you tell us a little bit about the banquet?
Well, the banquet is going to be held at the Cherry Hill Holiday Inn on Route 70. It's the same place we had last year. We have a room set up for about 150 Rotarians. It can be expanded a little bit, but being as it's on a Thursday, we don't really know how many people will come. We have a baseball theme night wherein we're going to have a buffet with food that you would have at the ballpark. We're going to have just a few speeches from the different district governors that are going to be there. The district governors will also have an opportunity to meet personally one-on-one with the RI president or president-elect, who's ever our guest speaker is, prior to the meeting. And then we'll conduct it like a regular Rotary meeting, but it'll be a lot of fun. We have items to auction off to raise money. We'll have live music, dancing, door prizes. It's always a fun-filled event.
Okay.
And it's informal.
Now, do you have a goal for either money raised each year or people that attend the game? Because I know you mentioned the auction. There are various revenue streams here. So what are the goals? Can you talk a little bit about that?
No, actually, there are no goals. The goal is to raise as much money as we can.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. And to get as much food as we can, because every year is different. This year, the Phillies are the best team in baseball. So I already booked different sections with seats, just so many that I could grab, and another certain amount in abeyance. But the Phillies have sellouts pretty much every game. They don't need to share half the ticket price with Rotary. So it's going to be difficult.
It's more challenging when the Phillies are better.
Oh, absolutely. When they're not doing well, which was in 1986.
Well, there was many years in the last 10 years.
We could get as many tickets. I've sold over 3,000 tickets a number of times. But now, if I could get 1,000 tickets, I'd be thrilled. So that's kind of the challenge right now.
Understood.
But I did get a good deal with them. We're going to get approximately half the ticket price. So if you buy a $44 ticket, $22 is going to Rotary, and the Gates Foundation will match that. So basically, one ticket can get $44 for Polio Plus.
And that's amazing. And that's something you need to remember. If you're on the fence about going to the game, think about what Marv just said. A lot of the money from your ticket will be headed straight to a good cause. And so
every club gets the recognition foundation points for the money they raise so that they can present a Paul Harris Fellowship Award to the person of their choice. There are clubs that every year buy enough tickets so that they get enough money credits to award a Paul Harris Fellowship.
I love it, man. That is great. So on the screen, again, I've got the flyer for the game and the image for the banquet. Now, both of these flyers can be found on the Garden State Rotary of Cherry Hill website. That's where I got them. You can go there. You can find them. You can find all the information you need to book your tickets to either the game, the banquet, or both. And last year I went to both and I had a blast both nights. I think there was music and everything at the banquet. There was people were dancing, cha-cha sliding, the whole 9 yards. So it's something that I would highly encourage people to do if you're local to, whether it's South Jersey, Philadelphia area, whatever. Try to get to one of these events because it really is a fantastic cause. Did you have any other information you want to share? Maybe a story you wanted to share from over the years? Because I know you're full of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to add, if you can't find our website, you can always just Google Phillies.com/Rotary SOH, and that'll take you right to the landing page where you can order tickets. Of course, you'll need a club code to put in to get them, but that will ensure that your club gets the credits. If you don't have it, or I haven't sent it to your club or don't know it, call me anytime. You can find my name anywhere and give me a call or email
me. Should
me.
the presidents have that code, or do they have to ask for it?
No, I send it to them.
Okay.
I send it to everybody. Also with the banquet, you can go to Club Runner and just search 2024 Rotary-Strike-Out Hunger-Banquet. And that'll get you there too. Or again, give me a call and I'll set that up. But please, if you want to go to the game and you want to help, get your tickets early. I don't know exactly how many are left, but we've sold hundreds of tickets already to the game. And I don't know how many are, I'm not handling the registration for the banquet, but get your tickets early, reserve a whole table for your club, your district, whatever. You'll have a great time.
Nice. I like it. And, in the background here, I made a point to put up some of my Philly stuff. Marv brought some of his Philly stuff. We've got the 2008 scorecard here and all the games and scores and everything. This is my favorite picture from the 2008 World Series. And if you're a baseball nut, that's one of the cool things about this event too, is because it's all Phillies everything. You'll get Phillies pins at the banquet. You'll get Phillies this, Phillies that. And my dad was a huge Phillies guy. I'm a huge Phillies guy. So it's definitely like right in my wheelhouse as far as events go. And Marv brought some cool stuff with him here too.
And my first Phillies game, show you how old I am, was an interleague game with the Philadelphia Athletics. So that shows you how far back I go. I still remember it. But yeah, I brought a couple things. Like this was the opening day at the Citizens Bank Park. But of course,
2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Yep. And of course, my history goes back before that. The old bet. There's a hat from the 2022 World Series.
Oh man, we got to get back there this year.
Yeah. As a picture of the Centennial District Governor from our district who had a ball to throw out in 2005.
This is Scott Palmer.
Yes.
From the News, along with Jay Neufeld and I guess someone's son here. And then this is you and one of the
Frank Devlin.
Yeah. And Frank
Scott
Devlin.
Palmer, of course, is the announcer for the Phillies.
Yeah, well, he was on the news. He's been all over the place.
And the Phillies generally bring somebody to our banquet to speak for a few minutes and answer questions. So I don't know exactly who will come because they do have a game that night, but we always get someone.
And then this might be that from that same night, but it's you and Neufeld, and that's Huang and the Fanatic. Mm-hmm. And then
that was 2014.
And two of your representatives who threw out first pitches. And so this is just cool stuff.
That's John Nanny in the motorized chair. He was the Rotary ambassador to the UN. And he threw out the first pitch one year. I forget exactly which year it is.
But these were cool images that Marv was able to share with me, and I put together these slides, and it's awesome to see the history that this event has, because it's been 86 to 2024. I mean, it's almost
37 years. This is our 37th year.
It's impressive, man. It really is.
And it would be longer if it wasn't for COVID. I also brought a bat that I didn't even realize I had. First time I've actually held the bat outside of its wrapping. It was given to me by mistake. I was supposed to got get from the Phillies a bat to present to one of the RI presidents attending, but instead they put my name on it. I couldn't give it to him, so I have it now.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, don't take that one to the cages. Well, thank you so much for being here, Marv. That's really it's a great cause, an amazing event. I encourage everyone to go to the Rotary Garden State Rotary of Cherry Hill website or the sites that Marv has mentioned. Get your tickets to the game.
One last thing,
sure.
I'd like to thank all the Rotarians and all the clubs that have supported StrikeOut Hunger over the years, because there's only ever been one disease conquered by man. That's smallpox. Smallpox, only one disease. As of this past May, there's only been 10 cases of polio reported in the world, from 365,000 when we started to 10. 2024 could be the last year, the year we finally eradicate polio from the world. So please help buy tickets to the game and come out to the banquet. Thank you again.
That was very well said. And if we do eradicate polio, Marv, you're still going to be doing StrikeOut Hunger. We're just going to raise that money for something else.
I'm retiring. That's it.
All right, guys. Well, this has been Behind the Wheel. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to look at all the other videos we have on our channel, and we'll be back soon with another episode. Thanks.